Wuthering Waves just released their third and fourth floor within the Tower of Adversity, and a lot of people have a lot of things to say about it, usually negative. But in this video, I'm going to be defending these new floors, as well as telling you what you need to do in order to clear them more easily. First of all, before I even start with the actual floors themselves, I want to talk about the big difference between these two new floors and what happened to Whimpering Wastes, because I do not want to be called a hypocrite for defending Tower and then making fun of Whimpering Wastes. So the difference between these two is that in WuWa, the HP jump was very sudden, more than doubling in just 2 cycles. That is a ridiculous upscale. However, for Tower, the difference is that, well, rather simply, it's a very natural progression. Floors 1 and 2 are still very similar to what they were, and are still very easy. You are not forced to interact with the extra difficult content. If you're content just doing the first 2 floors of the middle tower, then do that. Interacting with this new content is a choice that you yourself can make. If you want to do the new tower floors and you end up not having fun, that is on you, because you chose to interact with the content. These new floors exist to be more difficult. And if you go into the challenge thinking you're going to just go through it like a breeze like the previous floors, you simply have the wrong mindset. Don't go into the endgame content and then be surprised when it's hard. This is supposed to be the ultimate test of strength. It's not meant to be easy. We have simply grown accustomed to endgame being clearable by literally anything and just throwing stuff at a wall. Kuro has changed the game, but crucially, they didn't take anything away from us. They added this as an extra. They didn't take away asteroids from the previous floors. They simply give us more. And that's what people need to realize. If they don't want to play the new floors and wish they didn't exist, they don't have to. We're just getting a bonus of 100 asteroids per reset. If you choose not to do them, your life will stay the exact same as previously. And that brings us to the actual floors themselves, and here we're going to see some more positives. We can literally see from the tower effects that the floor 3 and 4 have less aggressive shield buffs than the previous floors. 1 and 2 have resistance manipulation, as well as 30% def ignore or shred or whatever it is, and then additional arrow-based procs scaling on your HP. This is incredibly aggressive Shill, and I've already made a video complaining about these types of tower effects. But then we look at the 3rd and 4th floor. We see a universal damage bonus that will apply to any team as the battle goes on. Then we see a damage bonus based on getting shields, which you're already getting 1 stack of for free because you get a stack whenever you use your liberation. And then the 3rd effect is also solved by the 2nd effect giving you a shield whenever you use your liberation, because that shield carries over when you swap over to your next character. This incentivizes skillful play, because if you get hit, you're actively losing damage. As long as you don't get hit, you're going to be able to take advantage of almost every single buff here. You're only losing out on 32% damage bonus if you choose not to play Augusta or Yuno. So the Shill here is in fact less aggressive. And that finally brings us into when you actually start fighting the bosses themselves. In the background, you've already been seeing me playing some teams within the game mode, one of which being the 1.0 GN team, being Mortefi and Verena. Then there's also going to be a Sheng Liao team, a hypercarry team in fact, not a quick swap team. And then the final team is Mono Fusion with Blood Pact Pledge, which you're gonna see later. Reminder that Dragon of Dirge is a fusion resistant boss, and yet I still got the clear on Blood Pact Pledge on my Chongli. That just goes to show that as long as you're playing a good team, you're going to be fine. What I have noticed is if we're talking about teams that struggle to clear these new floors, it's primarily the 1.0 DPS cast that's gonna start to have trouble. And this is, in my opinion, very normal. WuWa has had power creep since Carlotta. It's completely normal if older characters are going to have higher difficulty with clearing newer content. Sure, it's annoying to see your favorite character not clear content as easily anymore, but we have to remember that we are playing a gacha game. Content is always going to keep getting harder, and new characters are always going to keep getting stronger. You can't expect a game like this to live in stasis forever. An expectation like that is entitled, and it's entirely on you for thinking that it's going to stay that way. And even then, this is purely talking about without their signature weapons. So let's be real here. If you simply give these characters their signature weapon, most of the time they're still going to end up being fine. A GN with his signature will still be able to clear. You've seen me do it in a 1.0 team. So add Shorekeeper to that, maybe Shorekeeper signature, add Yuno to that, and suddenly your GN clear is going to be a lot more comfortable. Something that these new floors have really exposed to me is the fact that WuWa players seem to be allergic into investing into their characters. For some reason, they refuse to use the tools that Kuro has given us so graciously. People want to compliment Wuthering Waves for having a guaranteed weapon banner and for the ability to buy sequences from the shop. But if you even suggest chasing a sequence or trying to get a character's signature weapon, they look at you as if you're a stranger. They expect to always be able to clear with weapons like Lustrous Razor and Cosmic Ripples. If you don't invest into your characters more, they're not gonna get stronger, and content will keep getting harder. If you refuse to invest into teams you like, eventually they're gonna fall off. If you're looking at a GN Mortefi Verena team, you have plenty of ways of making that team stronger. You can pull for Shorekeeper, you can pull for Yuno, and if you don't want to invest into your GN specifically, you can also just get account-wide upgrades. One of the biggest increases you can give to your account is getting Sequence 2 Shorekeeper. If you simply save your corals and use it on getting Shorekeeper's first 2 sequences, you can start throwing actual nonsense at the wall and clear these stages. You have so many ways to make your account universally stronger, so why not do it? And all of this is under the assumption that you're trying to play a 1.0 DPS character without their signature weapon. You don't even need to do that. If you're still running GN on a Lustrous Razor, chances are you have more DPS characters you can abuse. Carlotta should be able to clear it very easily, at least the 3rd floor because there's no glacial resistant enemies there. If we're talking about a Phoebe, she can do it. If we're talking about a Zani, she can also do it, granted you have her best team. If you literally only have a GN and a Shengliao to your name, maybe Endgame isn't meant for you yet. That's the point of Endgame, to force you to get stronger and to invest into your characters. And if you don't want to do that, like I said at the beginning of the video, you don't have to. This is an entirely optional challenge that is not even gonna increase your pull count by 1 per month. You do realize that that 100 extra Asterites you're getting is not worth losing your mind over. At the end of the day, if you're not having fun, don't do it. If you like the challenge, all the more power to you. And if you don't like the extra challenge, still, all the more power to you. It's a matter of personal preference. But one thing is fact. Endgame tries to encourage you to make your account stronger. That is the entire point. So if you can't clear it, your account has to become stronger. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And while you're down there, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Additionally, if you have any questions, be sure to join my Discord, which is linked in the description. If you just want to see more of me as a person, check out the other link in my description to check out my second channel. I primarily post PGR content, but I kinda just make videos about whatever I feel like. But that'll be all from me. Peace.